Dale Earnhardt Jr. just went against every driver, crew chief, and team owner in the NASCAR garage, and he did it on purpose. While the entire Cup Series paddock is still fuming over a 9-car pileup that Carson Hocevar triggered at Michigan, Jr. stepped up to a microphone and said something nobody expected. He wants Hocevar to keep making mistakes, and he means it. This isn't spin. This isn't politics. This is one of the most respected voices in NASCAR history, drawing a line in the sand. And what he's really saying should terrify the rest of the field. Here's what went down at Michigan. Carson Hocevar, driving the number 77 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports, triggered a 9-car crash mid-race at the Firekeepers Casino 400. He wasn't blameless. He started it. He owned it. And Bubba Wallace gave him an earful on pit road afterward. Despite all of that chaos, Hocevar crossed the finish line in 5th place. He led 21 laps. His car was fast enough to win, and when it was over, he slammed his helmet on the roof of the 77 because 5th wasn't good enough. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin blew by him with 39 laps to go and never looked back, collecting his 63rd career Cup win. Hocevar watched it happen and knew immediately the moment it slipped. Then Dale Jr. weighed in, and the story got a lot bigger. Carson Hocevar didn't build this reputation overnight. Go back to his Craftsman Truck Series years between 2021 and 2023. The guy was already ruffling feathers at every level. The 2023 Phoenix Championship race is the clearest example. His aggression that day may have cost Corey Heim a title. That's not a footnote. That's a defining moment that followed him straight into Cup, and Hocevar doesn't run from it. He knows exactly what he is. He's already said publicly that the image sticks, that even 3 years down the road, people will remember. His crew chief, Daniel Green, actually reframes the whole thing. He argues that what looks reckless from the outside is frequently calculated, that Hocevar's version of 90% is most drivers' 110. That's not a defense, that's a scouting report. And the Talladega win earlier this year backs it up. He beat Chris Buescher by less than 0.2 of a second after a 3-lap shootout, spending the final 30 laps managing 2 racing lines near the front. That wasn't chaos. That was cold-blooded execution. So when Dale Jr. says he doesn't want Hocevar to change, that's coming from somewhere real. Here's the thing that most people are missing in this conversation. Dale Earnhardt Jr. isn't just defending Carson Hocevar, the driver. He's making an argument about what NASCAR needs to survive as a television product. Pack racing at super speedways has a fundamental problem. It's a chess match that looks like a parking lot for 150 miles. Nothing happens until someone forces a decision. Hocevar forces decisions every single lap. And that unpredictability is incredibly valuable in a sport that has spent years trying to manufacture excitement through rules packages and stage racing. Now look at the cautionary tale Jr. is implicitly referencing: Ross Chastain. In 2022, Chastain pulled off the Hail Melon wall ride at Martinsville, one of the most insane moves in the sport's modern history. NASCAR responded by adding a timed penalty rule for deliberate wall contact. Chastain absorbed that message, and the version of Chastain you see today is disciplined, professional, and almost invisible on the broadcast. He became a better teammate. He became a more consistent points finisher. He also became far less interesting to watch. Jr. is watching that pattern and saying out loud what a lot of people in the sport quietly believe, that penalizing aggression out of existence comes at a cost, and that cost is paid in ratings and fan interest. In the kind of water cooler moments that keep casual viewers engaged, is this a risky position? Absolutely. The drivers Hocevar collected at Michigan have real equipment on the line, real championship implications. Real sponsorship dollars attached to cars that are now in pieces. The garage won't forget that. But Jr.'s point isn't that consequences don't matter. It's that a sanitized version of Hocevar is a net loss for NASCAR. And that's a harder argument to dismiss than it sounds. The garage reaction has been predictably split. The drivers who got caught up in the Michigan wreck aren't lining up to agree with Dale Jr. When Bubba Wallace is delivering a lecture on pit road, the emotion is real. This isn't a racing incident, shrug and move on. But on social media and among the broader fan base, Hocevar has significant support. The Intimidator comparison, and credit Josh Berry for dropping that nickname on the radio, has taken on a life of its own. Fans see the parallel. Lower series, raw aggression as a brand, Talladega as a stage where everything clicked. That storyline writes itself, and the analysts who cover NASCAR entertainment trends understand exactly what Jr. is saying. A sport that loses its edge loses its audience. the reaction isn't universal outrage. It's complicated, and that complexity is actually proof that Hocevar is exactly the kind of driver the sport needs to be talking about. Best case, Hocevar threads the needle that Chastain never quite managed. Keeps the aggression, keeps forcing issues, keeps putting pressure on the field, but wins enough and crashes out fewer people that the garage slowly stops treating him like a problem and starts treating him like a rival. The Talladega win is chapter 1. He builds a career that actually lives up to the Earnhardt comparisons, and NASCAR gets the villain turned hero arc it desperately needs from the next generation. Worst case, the Michigan incident is the beginning of a pattern that forces NASCAR's hand. Enough collected competitors, enough post-race confrontations, enough lost equipment, and the sanctioning body introduces a rule that clips his wings, just like Chastain's wall ride rule. At that point, Hocevar faces the same choice: adapt and become palatable, or resist and face points penalties that make winning a championship nearly impossible. That's the version of this story where NASCAR loses another edge before it even gets to see what it could become. Dale Jr. said it plainly. He wants Carson Hocevar to keep making mistakes. Not because the chaos doesn't matter, but because what comes with it matters more. This sport has been chasing the next great personality for years. Hocevar isn't perfect. He wrecks people. He costs teams money. But he also makes you lean forward. And in 2026, that might be the most valuable thing any driver can do. So here's the question, and drop your answer below because I genuinely want to know where you stand on this. Is Dale Earnhardt Jr. right? Is a reckless Hocevar better for NASCAR than a disciplined one? Or does the garage have a legitimate beef that goes beyond entertainment value? If you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. We cover NASCAR at this level every single week. Not just the results, but the stories underneath them. Hit the button and you won't miss the next one.